Myself, my name is Dawit Teferi, my colleague Bayana Gazgier, and my colleague Dawit Yibrah, and we've been holding here meetings in Ethiopia. And I wanted to start my statement by saying thank you to the Ethiopian government and the people for hosting us. For the last 30 years, our country has been going through tough times, and you guys have been a great host, and we appreciate that. So let me start by speaking about Yibrah's vision. Yibrah is a byproduct of the Brigade Nhamedu movement, which is basically started fighting the regime's wrong ideology that's based on hate and a communist ideology that trapped our people in poverty and conscription and total destruction. And it's not enough just it caused that problem to the Eritrean people, it transferred all over the Horn of Africa from Ethiopia, Sudan, Somalia. So Yibrah mainly ideology is based on peaceful coexistence and working with our neighbors, accepting our indigenous ties with people in Ethiopia, Sudan, Djibouti. We seek to rebuild Eritrea as a new nation that out of the dust of this communist regime. The Eritrean regime is basically a copy of Cuba in the Horn of Africa. It's just a focus of Fidel Castro of the Red Sea. As we work together now, we are building a global alliance to build the consensus that Eritrea needs to be ushered into democracy and to become a functioning country, and that's a very important essential role that Ethiopia can play as a host nation for this new vision. We, as the Yibrah representing the youth that you can see here today, we believe we need to move on from the cycle of violence and build a better vision for the Horn of Africa. We have a lot to offer, and we can work and coexist with our Ethiopian family members. So when we always talk about something that's contentious between Eritrea and Ethiopia, it's the Red Sea axis. We here in Yibrah, we believe that we have an own international convention that we can abide with that will allow Ethiopian government to get full access to the Red Sea unhindered with no term. And we can work on that on good faith, because ultimately that brings a solution for the Ethiopian people, and as well as peaceful reconciliation for all the border conflicts that happened over the last 30 years. Our focus in Yibrah that we as Eritrean people should focus on building a new national identity that is focused on economic progress, economic integration with our neighbors, and focusing on working together and forgetting the past. In every continent in this world, there's always conflict. We can move on and build a better future. And we appreciate what's been offered by the Ethiopian government and the Ethiopian people over the last 30 years. So I'd like to end my statement by saying thank you for being a good host, and we look forward to working with the Ethiopian government and Ethiopian people. We chose Ethiopia for multiple reasons. First, Eritrea and Ethiopia, we share the same ancestors. We're brothers. Our history is identical. We have all the ethnic groups in Eritrea have a sibling in Ethiopia, so it kind of makes sense. It is our second home. And I will add, Ethiopia for the last 30-something years has been an island of stability, and it became a powerhouse when it comes to economy, and it kind of makes sense for us to work, because we believe that we can have something to offer to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia really requires economic solution when it comes to access to the sea, and we believe Eritrea could have played a far more important role. Unfortunately, due to the historical problems that we have, we could not fulfill that problem or that role that we should have achieved. And we have to add a third layer to this. Is ultimately the Eritrean regime. I like to call them. They like to call themselves a government, but I don't think it's a real government. It is Ethiopian opposition. The only role exists in antagonizing the Ethiopian government for the last 35 years. I think Ethiopia had 4 or 5 prime ministers, and it's just been the most permanent person. And if you look at this, rhetoric has always been about fighting or complaining against the Ethiopian government. And if you look at it, because ultimately they don't have any economic vision for Eritrea, they use Ethiopia as a boogeyman to keep our people in jails in an open air prison. So it kind of makes sense for us to be here in Ethiopia, and we believe Eritrea is a menace not just to Ethiopia, it is for the whole region, for the Red Sea Basin, but more importantly, we have a lot more to share, and our future always intertwined. So it kind of makes sense to use Ethiopia as our home base and to fix the historical error of the Eritrean people always considering Ethiopia as an enemy. If anything, Ethiopia is a cousin. And we need to coexist and build a better economic integration and build a better vision for our working together. We respect each other's sovereignty. However, sovereignty doesn't mean you suffocate each other. It's actually you use what you have in exchange for a better life. And we support Ethiopia's economic progress, and we are here to become a very valuable partner for the Ethiopian government. Thank you.